Welcome back to our podcast from Underdog Studio, Truth Over Fitness. Today, your
Today on our podcast, this is your host, Sir Earl Bell,
and I'm
with my co-host.
co-host, Chie and Prodigy Terui.
Okay, and what we wanted to discuss in this podcast is basically transformation of changing your body changing your physique as a person, along with
Your mental transformation.
right, your mental transformation, and also I wanted to discuss the changes in the industry from when I started. I know a lot of people always say, "Oh, when I was in my days," and that's not what this subject is about. It's that
Right, completely transformation, right?
right,
It's like a transformation to actually ourselves, mind and mentally, physically, but then also what happened, what is going on in the industry or society right now first,
right,
right? Yeah. So the we haven't been talking about taking a shortcut,
right,
which is when now it's a lot of weight loss surgery or weight loss supplement to get to quick S or easy S.
right.
That's what the people look for. But it's most important thing that we want to discuss when you transform yourself is taking it each step. Is there for a reason.
Right. My belief is as I've seen it firsthand about the industry. I believe one of the biggest costly mistakes that I seen to change is there's a category for every goddamn thing when you compete. There's there's fitness, there's figure, there's bikini, there's physique, there's in men there's
Classical physique,
right,
also
men,
a woman wellness, and now they have a fit model. So what happened is that when we came up was just simple bodybuilding,
figure
fitness,
and
no figure yet.
right, fitness
And bodybuilding. That's
right,
it.
that's it. You had those two choices.
And then that's from there actually branching out to figure came out because what happened was that the bodybuilding for women, the woman got so big and that was really marketable, and also wasn't not so much attraction to become a woman bodybuilder. So they wanted to kind of change a little bit, well, take it this sports too. So I think that's why where they create figure because now fitness, as everybody know, they have to do 60-second routine. Of course, jump up and down. Like if you're a gymnast, you can do that easily. Handstand, push up, and all that other stuff. I was not, they have any background of a gymnastic or cheerleading or anything like that. So that was not the sports that I was admired to. Or bodybuilding, I truly big respect for that because it's a bigger commitment as a woman to get, how they had to get so much mass out there, muscles. So, but I was more looking for like, more femininity. It's
Right,
that I wanted to go into something more feminine but I didn't know there was a different category was come up and then but that's a 2002 they actually create the called figure, which is we don't have to do actual physical routine like a push up or a handstand or nothing like that, but we just do quarter turn. But what they are looking for is a little bit more uh, have an athletic muscle figure than average woman. So that was a really a sports that I was attracted to. And but at the same time, for us to build muscle like that, we still have to go through a called bodybuilding, the training,
right,
right? So right now, because I think they lower standard. That's another thing. And
Yeah,
I think the society got weaker because we continuously to lower our standards.
right. And I believe that not just in fitness competition, but as a whole, developing AI and doing different things, like now you don't have to sit and write pen to paper, which you had to do before, as life progressed.
So what happened? We not using our brain, right?
Exactly.
And also everything DoorDash, Uber Eats,
Everything's easier.
so it's more convenient.
Right.
Now people pay for convenient, you know what I mean? But certain things, as you see, and then I know that so many, people are experiencing, is gets so easier means you are lazier, right?
Yeah.
You don't even go to grocery store to
Right.
pick your own apple.
Right.
Somebody gonna pick an apple for you, which is I really don't like it because I will blame it on you if my watermelon is not sweet enough. You know what I mean? If I pick my own watermelon, I can blame myself. You know
Right.
what I mean? So, and you gotta pay more money. I don't know about that.
Right. I think as a whole, and people call it evolution or whatever, and it's like I'm not here to try to down it or bash it. I'm trying to say that the thing of creating convenience, that the thing that you don't have to do, like for instance DoorDash. That's why so many people are fat, because they don't eat meals like they used to eat. They used to have to, be cooked and this and that. And our nutrition was better because meals had to be prepared. Now you just call and order some.
I mean, it's always a McDonald's and Burger King, you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, even though that, we have to actually get in a car and go to the place.
And the thing is, that's what people do now.
But the now what they do is they will bring it to you.
Right.
You don't even go to your
Right.
car or
Exactly.
go to the restaurant.
Right.
They just come to you.
So nowadays, and you would know this as a mom, you had to cook for your kids. You had to prepare meals, and you took time to be concerned with what you're preparing. Now, mothers don't prepare shit. They order out, they order this, they order that.
Yeah, but for us to saying that, when you are looking for easy way or the shortcut, is the price to pay.
Right.
And now you are unhealthy, right? Or now you just don't even know look at our phone. Now everybody have phone.
Right.
And long as you don't even have to, matter of fact, put passcode in no more.
Right.
Right? The
Face
facial recognition.
Right.
And then so what happened if we lose that?
Right.
Wait a minute, what the password was? You bad with a password, matter of fact. It was everything. It is a password, but even though the phone is a speed dial,
Right.
so you don't have to remember how to dial
Right.
my kid's phone number. So I can't even tell you what my
Right.
phone number is.
I couldn't tell you either, because it's locked in my phone.
So our brain work less,
Right.
right? Physically, we moving less.
Right.
So transformation is a good thing, but what I'm saying is that everything is when we become easier and easier.
Right.
It's a price to pay, and so that's what we was really wanted to talk about, because what happened when you try to become successful
Right.
with what you're trying to do, not necessarily become rich or anything, but the example that where we in a physical fitness, the place, the industry, and also the business. So we see within ourselves, or the clients, and what they had to go through, you know what I mean? And you were saying, as far as the competition, that more category, it is better for sponsor,
Right.
the people that promoter.
Right. The essence of the business, because I worked as a judge and I worked as a promoter. More categories does create more money.
Yeah.
The thing is, what I look at it and I don't like about it is, if you think figure is tough, which you see it a lot. If you think figure is tough because you got to work hard at it, you choose not to work hard at it, and because they got a different division. Well, I'll do bikini. I ain't got to work as hard. It makes you less of a person that wants to put in the hard work to get better at what you. That's why on society's level, that's why when people text each other, they don't even fucking put okay, they put K. We're getting, our brain is getting lazier because that's been designed for society. And that's why the toughness and the things that you had to learn to do before are not there.
So what happened is that when you actually face it
Right.
to the obstacle,
That
and you don't know how to clear because you depend on
right.
a lot of other things that you never went through, where you don't even want to go through it.
And that's why that's why so many people in this generation, I don't just want to single out young people or kids or whatever, but the minute they run into a problem, they want to fucking kill themselves because they're not used to dealing with problems. I grew up, you got to deal with shit.
Right.
You got to deal with it. Nowadays, these kids will take the easy way out in a freaking heartbeat.
And I think because what we do, oh, that's okay.
Right.
If you don't, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. No. Certain things that you have to do it because you're going to go through it.
Right.
So what happened when you go into the real world, and if you don't know how to deal with it, and then that's where it leads to the depression.
Right.
And they can't even figure it out the way.
Right.
We always say it's always a way. When you continue to work hard and challenge yourself, it's always a way.
Right.
Right. But they easily quit.
Yeah.
Then once you quit, you know how to quit, so you're gonna be always.
And a lot more today, and it's because it's legal. They mask their pain with smoking weed,
Right.
because it's illegal,
Right.
and they think it's okay. Well, speaking from a person that smoked weed for a long time, you're frying your goddamn brain legally or not legally.
But they said right now that these weed are different than back in the day when you guys were smoking. They put more stuff in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, more important than
Right.
anything. So I think, unfortunately, we are controlling by the above as far as like the government. You know what I mean? Because now it's all about the money.
Yeah.
Right? So that the example, even the bodybuilding industry, it's all about the money.
Right.
So the long as we can bring the money in for the organization, let's create another category.
Right.
Right? And then so more people can actually compete. Now, I am not it's a good thing is that more people go in the gym. Okay. And good thing is that far as they can be able to set the goal and get in the gym and taking care of themselves, and they in a way where they said to them one day I want to compete, that's fine. But within that, you will face a lot of obstacle, and you actually once you decide that you gotta go through it. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's no maybe less cardio or less easy way. Let's take it, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It is just like a lot of way as people are of course trying to looking for easy way, convenient way. And it's some of what works for your life and it makes your life easier, but at the same time, on the exchange to that, we lose a lot of things that was really valuable
Right.
in the back in
And
the
I
day.
think that's what it is. I'm not saying if it's good or bad, but I think when you learn to take the easy way, I think, like I said, if you want to compete in bodybuilding, but you don't want to really, that's why you see so many guys in bodybuilding with these weak ass legs, because they don't want
They don't
to.
go through it.
They don't want to go through the pain of,
Yes, building the leg.
when I got involved in the sport, you had to have it.
Right.
So
It's a standard was so high.
right.
You know what I mean? So standard is so high, but because you wanted to become that person,
Right.
you just deal with it. You put a work in and you deal with it. You know what I mean? But I think when you're lawyer standard, you don't even have to do that.
Right.
You don't
Exactly.
even have to challenge yourself to where you can go beyond you think you can.
Right. Yeah.
So
And that's what the problem is to me.
yeah.
Everything from technology to physical fitness, everything in life now is made easier because somebody somewhere decided if it's easier, more people are going to do it. And I think that's
I mean, but guess what? Now, like I said, the AI will take over all of humans' work,
right.
right? So look at toll booth. It used to be people was in there
Right.
and giving you a change, but now nobody in the toll booth, right? And
Right.
then you just go past it because they just read it your, the sticker
Right.
or whatever. So, for the corporation it's great because you're cutting the overhead,
Right.
but there's certain things, we can't cut it because that's going to be a disaster for us, period.
Right.
Less using your mind, less using your body, so if you don't force yourself to go in the gym, you gonna wake up in the morning, go on the computer because you work from home
Right.
all day with the pajamas, and now the DoorDash gonna freaking bring your food, and then when you work the 8 hours done, and after that you just watching TV. He go
Right.
the next day.
Right. And
Yeah.
and we're at a point in our life in society that we're some people think it's good. Some to me personally, you're paying a price for it.
Yeah.
And that price is like you said, you're less use of your brain. Because when you talk to people nowadays, they any way that can make things easier. Like I'm in the midst of writing a book. And they say, "Oh, well, you should use AI." No, I want to put pen to paper because it takes more thought pattern and more structure.
And then a lot of people would say, "Well, you're old school."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then so it's like, but old school had a value.
Right.
When I think about it, as far as how I learned to train myself, I'm so grateful and glad that I did when I learned,
Right.
because if I was a rookie and right now coming in the fitness industry, I probably going to only learn RDL, squat, deadlift, small squat. That's it. You know what I mean? Because now it's only this way to have a bigger booty
Right.
or bigger leg, and so it's not even proportional anymore. These trainers don't even know how to build each body part.
Seeing trainers, because it's something I've been, like I said, I've been in training well over 30 years. I've owned my business well over 30 years. And to see the trainers nowadays is a fucking joke. It really is a joke.
Yeah.
Because they've learned for so long not to put the work in. So they look like shit. And I've heard this from so many clients. You have trainers that look worse than the people you're paying to train you. And that's because, oh, if I read and I got a certificate, I'm a trainer. But you don't practice what you preach. That's just like you selling cars, but you're on the bus. You have yet to get your own car, but yet you're selling cars.
Right.
And I see it all the time. You have trainers that don't practice what they preach.
It's took the easy way. But
Exactly.
these are company that providing those a certificate, they don't even provide hands on, which is like I said, easy way to take money away
Right.
from you. And but at the same time you're not learning anything. And it is so scary, the fact that we are actually treating a human being body, right?
Right.
So if you do something wrong, they can get hurt.
Yeah.
You know.
And a lot of them do.
A lot of them do.
You have a lot of injuries because trainers don't know the
Right.
I am happy that there's more people than ever before getting into working out. But to me, you don't have the facilities. You don't have the people that know. And like, not to toot my own horn, but that's one of the reasons why we're better than everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I learned to how to train in minimum like a machine or weights.
Right.
I mean, when I started going back to Japan to do my seminar, that was like almost 18 years ago, and I did like a 14-year executive year,
Right.
doing a seminar, going back to Japan. But at some gym, because the Japanese fitness was like a 10 years back, the gym was not up to date. You know what I
Right.
mean? So what happened? They had a only bench and a universal machine, and then those rusted the barbell. You know what I mean? And but I had to be creative,
Right.
and I knew I can because I came up with the old school.
Right.
And as a woman, to do weight training in a different way, these guys in Japan was amazed.
Yeah.
Like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that exercise with this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I truly appreciate the old school way, and at the basic
Right.
that I still to this day carry on, because it's that's the reason I can train anybody.
Right.
I can train man, woman, old, young, athlete, the model, it doesn't matter. So what happened is that my scale of clients is so wide.
Right.
That's why I can make a living off of myself,
Right. And and me personally, I believe old school is more when you as a person, even if you're not old, you still believe in the old school methods.
Right.
If you're doing anything, you relate back to to how they did it in the beginning. Um, I personally think that's the best way. I study a lot about uh, people back in the day when they were starting companies, the Rockefellers, the Edisons, the JP Morgan, stuff like that. They did it basic old school. They didn't have phones, computers, and all this other stuff.
Right.
And that's how I try to run and build my business. And I look around and I see it's the reason that so many people try to do it other than that, they don't survive. They don't
Right.
make it.
Yeah.
So I believe basic in everything in business, in nutrition, in transformation, in working out. I always believe in it. It's probably because I'm an older person. I believe everything was always better from the old school.
Yeah. And fortunately, we have a lot of younger kids, high schooler, teenager coming to our facility now. They train with us because they wanted to go scholarship,
Right.
with the sports, whatever they are doing. So we can actually give them the idea and inherit it, what I mean, the things that we learn,
Right.
through the weight training. And I just love that because we need that.
Right.
We need that because of these younger generation don't know.
Right.
And then there's so many, like I said, easy way, right? So dating, even though dating is easy, far as go through the slide DM to somebody, and you don't even have to deal with a face-to-face rejection.
Right.
So that's actually sad because when you meet actually physically, they don't even know how to communicate.
Right.
You can't even hold conversation.
Right.
And then that's really sad, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's transforming in an easy way is what we always, I guess, are looking for as a human being. Less is better, but and then certain things that especially like go through your within the health and fitness, step is there for a reason.
Right.
You gotta take your step because the fast you lost, you're going to gain as fast as you lost, right?
Right.
So because you didn't learn anything,
Right.
you
And
know.
and that's why I say I believe old school basic. It's like I'm very well. I believe I'm a pretty good, decent owner of a facility, and I run a business entrepreneurship very well because I read, I listen, I do it. And to think you can do it without that, to look at how the greats built theirs, and you don't listen or learn or read anything about that.
And you never quit,
Right,
right? And so many tough times came through, you never quit,
right.
you know?
And that's the first thing they teach you from old school basics is, you don't give up. So if you don't learn from that, if you don't listen to that, you never get or learn that. I've met, so matter of fact, the other day we were talking to a client, very smart, very well educated, not judging her, but she's at the point now she's trying to learn all the things. To me, I thought you should have been learned. As a person, I thought you should have been listening to podcasts, listening to motivational, reading how the greats made it and how they did it. I thought you should have been learned that. You know, um, you're talking to a person, to me, that, like I said, I barely finished eighth grade and never went to college. So I'm more self-taught than anything, and the lessons to learn to be successful are right there, whether you read it, whether you listen to it, or whatever. It's there for you. um, and you're talking about a person that this is the education. They got master's degrees, but what it takes to learn and be successful, they're just not starting to try to learn, through the same way I had to learn years ago. But they
Yeah,
don't know nothing about it.
yeah.
And
I
it's
mean, but long as it's a never too late, right? So to me, never too late to start training, taking care of yourself, and so never too late to learn. But what we were more so that don't skip the steps.
right,
More so that's our message. Don't skip the steps, because when you skip the steps, because these are steps there for reason. It's something that you can learn.
right,
So if you miss those steps and get to, you know, the skip the level 2 to level 7, when some issues happen when you should when you took the level 5, they will actually listen to this one. You know what I mean? And then you probably figure that out,
right,
right? But like I said, society started accepting because of it financially. That's easier, whatever, or more. And some people are in the position, and I wanted to become, especially the bodybuilding judge. I wanted to become. I didn't compete. It's too hard to be competitor. So let me be the judge. Wait a minute. How can you tell what each competitor went through, or that how to be conditioned on the stage, or how to even build a muscle? If
right,
you don't know how, I just don't understand how can you become this
right.
bodybuilding judge?
Because you don't. Most competitors, no matter what category it is, they put in a lot of
A
work,
lot
a
of
lot of
work,
sacrifice,
three,
a
four
lot of
months we
effort,
dieting, but
and
see, they don't know that.
right,
They don't know your background.
and you become a judge, and you're there. Judgment, that's exactly what it means. You're here to judge that person. You don't know what they've been through because you never been through it. That's the same thing with fucking trainers. You don't know what it's like to help clients
If you don't
get
know
to
how to
their
feel,
exactly.
right? Yeah. So um however society goes, what the ratio 1 to 1 and Earl Chair practice, that we do what we do,
Right.
right? So I hope, listener, I think we are kind of a little bit all over the place, but um don't skip the steps are there for a reason. If you want to be successful and then transform yourself, mentally, physically, don't take a shortcut.
Right. There are no shortcuts to the top. There's none.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
and you learn. You will miss learning the principle
Right.
that how you becoming that person. You know what I mean? So
Right. And the thing is, people that do that or take that, we see it. We see the outcome because we're involved in so many things. We have kids that's getting older. We see the changes in the industry and society and life, and You know,
But it's all up to you.
right,
Doesn't matter how surround yourself with change. If you know that you know what this is important, then that's what you do.
right.
You know what I mean? And nobody not gonna teach you I'm gonna skip the step. long as you don't be lazy, just
I really believe from the bottom of my heart, we're building a much weaker society, and it shows.
yeah,
If you talk to people and you look at, like I say, the younger people, they rather kill themselves than to go through hard times. You can run into a bully that bullies you online. You've never seen them, and they convince you to shoot yourself in the head. That's weak,
yeah. Well, right. But yeah, easy to influence, right?
right?
So yeah, that's a whole another issue there. You know, what I mean, we might have to invite a psychologist that actually talk about it because you're hardcore like what? But um, but anyway, so I hope you guys have enjoyed our podcast today, and if you like it, please hit like and share and subscribe. So until next time. I am Chie Figure Project Tedui,
I am Sir Earl Bell,
and
and we're checking out.
see you next time. Bye.